Hello, this is another flip through of a Marseille deck. That sounded really southern. Marseille, Tarot de Marseille. So this is Convos, and I believe that's just the style. Maybe an artist. Oh no, actually, it is a combination of two people. So this is one person and this is another person. I read that. So anyhow, I bought this deck on eBay and I don't remember exactly why I bought it, but I do like Marseille style decks. So the back, nothing special. Usually Marseille kind of has a print like this. Well, even this is a little much, but they have a repeating pattern. And this, even though it is a French deck, it is titled in English. So we have the Fool, and this deck here that I have is the same, pretty much the same artwork. You can see that the face is a little different, but it's the same, cat, dog, whatever this is, ripping a hole in his pant leg. And I do like that this deck has a colored background. I like it. So this is, I wonder if it says here, I remember reading that the Convos was a combination of two artists' names. And let's see, it has some information in here, but it doesn't. So I know I read it online. So these have a white background. Oh, look at that. And the artwork here, it's a little, I don't know, creepy, but I like the nostalgia that it brings to it. It definitely has a look to it, right? It's not the typical RWS. And I love what the RWS has done for tarot. I love that Pixie did her own interpretations of the cards, and they've really become an icon. And I think a lot more people became interested in tarot. Actually, they did because of the illustrations were brought more into the current century. And that's a lot is what's going on now with tarot. We see that with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all of these independent publishers who are putting out wonderful, beautiful decks with different artworks. You have animals, you have abstract, you have photography, and it's wonderful to see the many diverse interpretations of these cards. And while I think some of these original meanings have changed, like for instance, the magician, this guy was called the Le Batteur. I don't know how to say it in French, so excuse my French. But let me look over here in this other deck that I have. Yeah, Le Batelleur. So this guy was a trickster. He wasn't someone to be trusted, and he definitely is in stark contrast to this magician who's an alchemist, who's a good guy who can do good things. The Le Batteur was essentially a bad guy. He was trying to take your money. So some of these meanings have been changed, but I say that is fine. Some people might like the old style, reading with pip decks like this. Some people don't want to be influenced by a man being stabbed by 10 swords, or or a house with 10 pentacles around it. Some people just want to use the images, the imagery, numerology, color, and how these illustrations work with one another. So, and like everything else, you know, like with ice cream, we all have our preferences. We do. And some people like to stay with the old and do how it was done and keep with tradition. And others like to shake things up. And others still like to use both, like both traditions. And that would be me. I like to use both traditions. And I often find that I will use both systems, RWS and Marseille numerology type system with both of my readings. When I read Marseille, sometimes I feel the RWS come out using those meanings. And when I read RWS, sometimes I'll feel my numerology come out. So these are the swords. The swords are bent, they're curved, and in that I guess they're kind of like that Saudi Arabian Sinbad type sword where you have that curved blade. But there really isn't a hilt, but these are just representative of swords. And you know, perhaps they actually weren't swords in the very beginning. They were just some sort of design, and someone decided to put a sword in there and call it swords. And then someone decided to give swords the meaning of air. So we aren't quite sure of the definite origins of where this started, but it's fun to imagine where it came from and why these cards were made, and if they really were used to divine or if it was just a card game. It's kind of cool not to have a concrete answer, because it leaves each one of us up to our own imagination as to where this started, how they were used. And I mean, this doesn't even look like a cup at all. How would anybody drink from this? It just seems impossible, you know? So I don't know. I'm just happy to be able to read these cards. I'm happy that I learned how to read these cards. I remember when I first started, I didn't want anybody to know. And but now it's just, I think it's out there, and it's common, and it's not so taboo anymore. I do come across some religious people who think it's the devil's work. But you know, that's their opinion. I will not read their tarot cards, and they don't want me to. So there we go. We are in agreement. So that is the Convos Tarot de Marseille. I think I'm saying it right. Marseille? I think it's Marseille. Oh my gosh, I don't know. My French is non-existent. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next flip through. Take care.